foods that feed cancer cells. These are the worst foods linked to an increased cancer risk, primarily processed meats, red meat, sugary drinks, trans fats and alcohol, with strong evidence linking them to cancers of the bowel, stomach, esophagus, liver and pancreas, often due to carcinogens from processing, nitrates and nitrites, or high-heat cooking, charring. Limiting these and focusing on whole-based foods like fruits, vegetables, and whole grains significantly lowers cancer risk. The fiber in plants regulates blood sugar and insulin. The phytochemicals, the compounds that give plants their color, are nature's chemoprotective agents. They act as antioxidants, reduce inflammation, and even help deactivate carcinogens. Cruciferous vegetables like broccoli and kale literally signal our genes to increase production of detoxifying enzymes. Roughly 30% to 50% of cancers are preventable through lifestyle changes like maintaining a healthy weight, eating well, limiting your intake of sugar, processed meat, trans fats, low-fiber diets and alcohol, staying active, and getting vaccinated for viruses like human papillomavirus, HPV. However, strong evidence links certain dietary factors and foods to an increased risk of developing cancer, particularly with regular long-term consumption. Today, we're cutting through the hype and fear to look at what the science actually says about the relationship between our diet and cancer cell growth. We're not talking about one magical villain food. We're talking about the food environments we create in our bodies that can either support health or, potentially, support disease. These are the foods linked to an increased risk of cancer. Primarily processed meats, alcohol, sugary drinks, and highly processed foods. These foods don't directly feed cancer cells in a specific, unique way, but rather contribute to conditions like chronic inflammation, cell damage, and obesity, which are known cancer risk factors. Cutting out these risk factors and building your diet on whole, plant-based foods. The fiber in plants regulates blood sugar and insulin. The phytochemicals, the compounds that give plants their color, are nature's chemoprotective agents. They act as antioxidants, reduce inflammation, and even help deactivate carcinogens. Cruciferous vegetables like broccoli and kale literally signal our genes to increase production of detoxifying enzymes. Choosing whole plant foods like grains, veggies, fruits, and beans over processed items is a powerful strategy for better health, boosting fiber, nutrients, and antioxidants while reducing disease risks like heart issues, diabetes, and cancer. A cancer-preventive diet, which nourishes the body's cells and builds resilience, is primarily plant-based and focuses on whole, minimally processed foods while limiting red and processed meats. Food group number 1. Sugar and refined carb cascade. Here's the true science behind the sugar feeds cancer claim. It's not that cancer cells have a sweet tooth. All our cells use glucose for energy. The problem is the cascade. When we constantly drink sugary drinks, desserts, and refined carbs like white bread, our blood sugar spikes. This causes a spike in insulin, a growth hormone. And along with insulin comes another hormone called insulin-like growth factor. This insulin and IGF-1 doesn't just tell normal cells to grow. It can also send growth signals to precancerous or cancerous cells. While cancer cells consume a lot of glucose, eliminating sugar from the diet won't starve cancer cells without harming healthy ones. What we need is a complete balanced diet. The primary concern with high sugar intake is its indirect link to cancer risk through obesity, inflammation, and insulin resistance. Food group number 2. Processed and charred meat problem. It's not just about saturated fat. When processed meats like bacon, sausage, and deli meats are preserved with nitrates or nitrites, these compounds can form nitrosamines in our bodies, which are known carcinogens. Furthermore, cooking any muscle meat at very high temperatures, grilling, pan-frying, to the point of charring creates compounds called heterocyclic amines, HCAs, and polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, PAHs. These are DNA damagers. The World Health Organization classifies processed meat as a Group 1 carcinogen, known to cause cancer, and red meat as a Group 2A, probably causes cancer. The key here is the frequency and cooking method. Food group number 3. The damaged fat factor. Trans fats and why you should avoid them. Not all fats are created equal. We're talking specifically about industrial seed oils high in omega-6, like corn, soybean, and sunflower oil, especially when they're repeatedly heated to high temperatures in deep fryers. This creates a state of chronic inflammation in the body and leads to the formation of harmful free radicals. Cancer thrives in an inflamed, oxidative environment. It's not that we don't need omega-6, but our modern diet is dramatically skewed away from anti-inflammatory omega-3 and towards these pro-inflammatory, often damaged fats. Food group number 4. The white diet. The white diet is a popular term for a low-fiber or low-residue diet that primarily consists of refined, pale-colored foods from which the bran and germ, where most fiber is located, have been removed. A diet devoid of color and low in fruits, vegetables, and whole grains is critically low in fiber. Fiber is our gut's cleanup crew. It helps move potential carcinogens through our digestive tract faster, giving them less time to contact the lining of our colon. Certain fibers are also fermented by our gut bacteria into compounds that protect our colon cells. A low-fiber and highly processed food diet is linked to a higher risk of colorectal cancer. You're removing the body's natural defense system. Food group number 5. Alcohol. Stay away from alcohol or drink it mindfully, if at all. Mindful drinking or abstaining from alcohol offers significant health benefits, which include improved sleep, better mental clarity, and reduced risk of chronic diseases such as liver disease and certain cancers. It's a known carcinogen, but how? When our body metabolizes alcohol, ethanol, it breaks it down into acetaldehyde, a toxic chemical that damages DNA and prevents our cells from repairing that damage and also creates inflammation, which impairs our body's ability to absorb key cancer-protective nutrients like folate. These risks increase with the amount consumed. You should always eat before and during drinking, because food slows the absorption of alcohol into your bloodstream. These 5 foods don't directly feed cancer cells in a specific, unique way, but rather contribute to conditions like chronic inflammation, cell damage, and obesity, which are known cancer risk factors. By cutting out these risk factors and building your diet on whole, plant-based foods, the fiber in plants regulates blood sugar and insulin. The phytochemicals, the compounds that give plants their color, are nature's chemoprotective agents. They act as antioxidants, reduce inflammation, and even help deactivate carcinogens. Cruciferous vegetables like broccoli and kale literally signal our genes to increase production of detoxifying enzymes. Eating whole plant foods like grains, veggies, fruits, and beans over processed items is a powerful strategy for better health, boosting fiber, nutrients, and antioxidants while reducing disease risks like heart issues, diabetes, and cancer. Your health is your greatest wealth and asset, so invest in healthy habits.